Hello everyone, my name is Gilang Suarlambang and I made JokoPay. Most of the people stop using Finance Tracker because entering transaction manually is annoying. JokoPay solves this by letting users record their expenses using natural conversation, voice, or receipt image. So, what I built actually? I built a full stack AI finance tracking using Grok, Next.js, and Supabase. First, JokoPay can retrieve input from users from many ways. Just like a WhatsApp chatting with your friends. You can send a text, you can send voice notes, or you can send receipt pictures. Just say something like, I bought an Americano at Starbucks for 10 ringgit using my bank. And then the AI will take your input and process it. And this is the example of the output. Now let's move to the demo. This is the login page. You can actually visit the link in the description below to test it out. But for the demonstration purpose only, it will only use username without a password. So be careful when you entering the sensitive information because everybody can see it. So this is the interface of the home page. You can select the camera icon to upload picture or upload directly from your library or manually input the text like chatting to a friend, or you can also do a voice note. You can set your homepage view. If you a person who loves to see the dashboard, you can set your homepage to also include the dashboard together with the chatbot. But it is not available for mobile because the mobile screen is too small. Now, this is the voice example. In this demo, we are going to send a voice note like this. This voice will be processed and turned to a text, and the text will be parsed into JSON format. Later, I will explain. But after we send this, it will appear like this. This is the receipt. And then you can modify whatever field in this receipt if necessary. And then after the user confirm, all of the data from the receipt will be stored inside the Supabase. And now for the image example. Here's the example of an image receipt. Click the image button, then choose a receipt image. And the same like voice note, here's the confirmation. Exactly match with the receipt details. Click confirm, then all of the data will be stored in Supabase. And this is the dashboard page. The dashboard shows the chart of balance, income, and expenses. Additionally, it also have a container to have recent transaction. Only 10 transactions. We can also customize the total transaction to show in this area. Now let's move to the transaction. In this page, we can see our transaction records. And then we can also import a CSV file using this button, or we can also export the transaction records into a CSV file. So, for example, if you want to backup your transaction data, use the export button. Or if you want to bulk entry the data, use the import button. Now, let's move to the AI and technical decision. First, unify all the input modes into text before parsing. So, we know that we have three different methods to input: text input, voice note, and receipt picture. However, for the voice note and receipt picture, we have to implement, for example, in the voice note, I need to put a speech to text using the Grok model, which is a Whisper Large V3. And for the receipt picture, I need to pass it to the OCR first to get the text from the receipt itself. And then all of these three is actually resulting a string. Of course, for the text input, I don't need to process anything because it's already a string. And then all of these three will be processed again inside this what is it, data parser. And then the data parsing will return JSON output with some specific rules in my code. And then why did I unify all of the input modes to one data parsing method? Very simple. The first one, let's say I want to create a new method for the input. Like in WhatsApp, we can send documents also. For the new input method, maybe I will need to create a new collector, but at least for the data parsing, we only need one method, which is parse text. And then as a result, the parsing quality is persistent. So if let's say the parsing quality is bad, I can only change the parse text method. No need to change for every every input methods. Or if let's say the parsing quality is already good, I don't need to copy and paste to another input method. I just need to call the parse text method. Then additionally, it is easier to debug lah because we have the same data parse result that's stored in the raw underscore text in database. And then my second decision is to separate transaction items table. And then this is more like normalizing SQL data. Not only this, but I also separate the user table. And this is the example of one-to-many relationship of the transaction table and transaction at items table. For the tech decision number 3, it's a review step. So if we get back to this flow, remember that we have the data parsing process, this one. And then basically, this process is just changing the string or the text to the data formatted with JSON. And then this is the requested JSON. And the result of the JSON is like this. But after we get the result, the LLM detects that we have empty fields here. So the missing field here will be payment method because the payment method is null. And because we have the missing fields, it will trigger the system to ask again about these missing fields. And the process repeats again and again until we have the payment method inside this, not null again. After all of the information is complete, user still need to verify the result based on the receipt generated. For the technical decision number 4, I use LLM based parsing over regex and heuristic. Why? The transaction extracting is done by calling this model via Grok, and I'm not writing any pattern matching rules or training a custom model because, of course, I need something that handles the natural language variety, but I need a faster development cycle to how to say like creating a rapid prototyping and iteration, which is important for minimum viable products. And regex won't be able to do this because it will need thousands of patterns, which is waste a lot of time. Now, let's move to the technical decision number 5. Why did I choose Grok over other model providers? This is important because I already tested with the GPT-4 and Gemma 4, which is both of it is a online open source model, and the result is very slow and requires me to use the streaming response so the user will be comfortable with the waiting for the output. And also the open source model doesn't support to be used from the Vercel dashboard. Additionally, after I did some research, I found out that Grok is designed for low latency token generation and highly predictable output. And my application is mainly requires accurate structured extraction rather than advanced thinking. Llama 4's code is capable for following the JSON schema that I provide in the prompt engineering at the very low temperature, which is ideal because I'm doing parsing transaction details into database ready format. And then I'm gonna show the full demo of my program. So for the demo, first we need to enter a username. this username will be checked whether it exists on the database or not. If it doesn't exist, it will directly start to register. If it already exists, it will have some of the warnings. For example, like this, I have fixed work in here, and if I click let's go, I can choose whether I continue with the existing history of this person or continue with this username but delete the past history or delete this user permanently. But for now, I will create a new user. Then if I click let's go, it will ask me to choose my preferences between chat only or chat plus dashboard. What is the difference? Later I will show. And then starting balance we set in here, but I'm just gonna use this one. Let's go and continue with the existing history. And then this is a home page with the dashboard plus chatbot configuration. We can also change in the settings. For example, I'm changing to chat only. So if I save, the homepage will be look like this. Very simple, yeah. And then I'm gonna use these settings for now. So I'm gonna upload a receipt. I'm gonna use this one, the receipt that I downloaded already. Now, because the receipt is look like this. Wait. Because the receipt is look like this, so it doesn't have any payment method. So when they try to extract the information, they say missing payment method information. Like I said previously, it will ask again to the user for this missing information. So for example, I just gonna say, uh, oh yeah, I forgot that I was using my bank. So we can see here the date is following the receipt, 27 of April 2024 and 5:55 p.m. The name of the store is Bora Bora Sunset. The type is expense. The payment is my bank because we define it already. And the item is, the first one is Coke. 2 times 776, exactly like this. Two items, 776. But I need to include the calculation for the discount and the tax actually, because right now it's saying the subtotal is 84.66 cents, but in the total we have 99.75 cents. But anyway, after we confirm with this total, we see the total is matching and the data of the items is matching. We can click confirm. And then we can see in the transaction record, we search for the date. What is the date again? 27 April 2024. So it should be in the bottom. Yeah, this one. Bora Bora Sunset, Maybank. This is the item. This is the amount of money that reduce it from the balance. And then we can also check the dashboard and then we can select how many transactions to show in one chart. So in this example, I want to have many as possible, 40 transactions. So yeah, we have the Bora Bora Sunsets in here. The previous one is Starbucks, if I can remember. Yeah, this one is Starbucks. And also we have the expense chart and also income charts. So I'm gonna demonstrate the voice note function. So for example, I want to say like this. Help me take a note. I was buying an Americano at Starbucks for only 6.90 ringgit. It was at 15th of May around morning. I forgot what time. It was around 6 a.m. if I remember it correctly. And I was using TNG as my payment method. Let's see the output. Here we can see the date is correct, just like what I say. And then the time also the same. And then the store is correct. And then the type is correct. And the payment method is correct. And the Americano, 6.90. And the total is this. I can click confirm, but let's say I want to edit the store name. For example, Zeus Coffee. And then if I click apply, it will change to Zeus Coffee. But somehow, sometimes we have a problem where sometimes we mistakenly put wrong name inside the edit field. So I'm just gonna show you something. For example, I want to edit the Zeus Coffee to Zeus Coffee. And then if I click apply, I already put an AI automatic repair. So after we click apply, it will automatically repair the word to coffee. But let's say the actual cafe name is Zeus Coffee. Why it forced me to have coffee? We can still click the field and then revert Zeus Coffee to Zeus Coffee. So it will return like this and save edit, and then we can confirm. Let's see in the transaction. This is 15 May 2026. 15 May 2026, 6 a.m. Yes, this one is correct. Another type of transaction, which is income. So I'm gonna make, my dad gave me 2,000 ringgit because it was a new year at the 1st January 2026. Now, we can see that it it is very fast to extract. This is 1 January 2026 at 12 a.m. and this is an income and the total is 2,000 ringgit. And then we can also go to the transaction, and then after we have this everything here, right? Let's say I want to export everything, so I have the backup inside my PC. So put in 1,000, for example, and then what we can do, export CSV. What it will do, it will save the transaction to a CSV file. So this is the CSV file, like this, exactly from the database. For the import CSV, right? Let's say I'm logged out from this, and then I'm deleting the fixed work, delete this user permanently. And then if we create a fixed work, and then I'm choosing the chat plus dashboard, initial amount of 0, and then I can go to the transaction and import CSV, and then put the CSV inside the import field. Confirm import, and then let's see. Imported 39 transaction. Now, let's refresh this. Everything here is restored. If we go to the dashboard, it will say minus 10,000. It is because before I delete this fixed work account, actually I already created the fixed work account with the initial balance 10,000 ringgit. And that is why, because I created this account with the initial balance with the 0, it becomes minus. And that's it for the demo. Thank you. And we're going to move to the next section. And then for the architecture of my program, for the front end, I use Next.js, which is including React and TypeScript. For the LLM, I use Grok, obviously. And for the database, I use Supabase. And for the deployment, I use Vercel because Vercel is free. Now, what is my goal? My goal is to make tracking personal finance as easy as texting to your friends. Now, what about the future updates? Because this is a demonstration project, I will include these options in the future updates. The first one is balance per wallet. So user can have a multiple wallet and increase or decrease that amount of balance inside the wallet. And then I also want to implement data insight and personal finance advisor. So the chatbot will have a context with our data, so it will give the user some advice. And also, I will use the actual secure authentication for security purpose. And then many more idea that I want to implement to this program. Thank you. That's it for my presentation. Thank you for watching. And this is JokoPay, your finance companion. Thank you.